So this is on why. Why are 100,000 companies that we know of in June of 2018, why are they using the social cloud versus a premise solution or Amazon, Microsoft, Oracle cloud? Oh, why the social cloud? So and most of those companies are outside of the United States. So the best that we could tell, only 40,000 companies in the United States are using the social cloud. The vast majority are outside of the United States. So we started to look at why. Why are they using the social cloud in other parts of the business outside of marketing and advertising? So that's the key here. When we say people are using the social cloud, they're using social media for other things besides marketing and advertising. And this is about why. And so I'm kind of showing the foundation here. If you can imagine a building and its foundation, and what you see in the gray is underneath the ground. So we're really looking at why is that foundation so strong? Because that's what we're noticing. And the short answer with all of the companies that we've looked at, it's a bottoms-up approach, not a tops-down. So most companies, especially U.S. companies, always take a top-down approach, there's nothing wrong with that. Actually, it's the most recommended way to go about any type of business problem solving. Use a top-down approach. Define the problem, define the solution. The solution is always an answer to the problem. Look at the solution alternatives to get you to that answer. Map it out. Look at the components, build a project plan, get busy, and build it out. So it's almost like most of us, especially U.S. companies, can afford an architect. We hire a solution architect. The solution architect goes about doing their job. They do a beautiful job of architecting a solution. And then the plans are handed down to all of the different areas. And somebody gets the plan that says, here's the foundation, guys. Here's what it looks like. Here's what you need to build. For all of the companies that are using the social cloud in other areas of the business besides marketing, advertising, they can't afford an architect. It's pretty much the bottom line. They can't afford the architect, and they realize the foundation is already laid. They already had the foundation, and they already had ground floors on those foundations. They just started building a first floor on top of the ground floor. They didn't ask anybody for permission. They didn't go and get building permits. They just did it simply because they couldn't afford the architect. And that's the beautiful thing about the social cloud. Once you really understand it, it's as robust as the IBM cloud. It's as robust as the Oracle cloud. It's as robust as the Google cloud. It's as robust as Amazon Web Services. It's as robust as the Microsoft cloud. It's there with all of them, but it's free. It's free. Because of the nature of how social media grew up, in a world where we decided we're an advertising model, we're going to make our money from providing software to the mass. Critical mass is so important when it comes to social media. Any social media software that doesn't have critical mass is going to die a slow, painful death of starvation. But those that have reached critical mass, they celebrate. Facebook Incorporated is worth 5 IBMs. Facebook Incorporated is worth 5 IBM's, and they do that with 27,000 employees. IBM needs 300,000 employees. All of that money, all of that profit, to make sure that advertisers continue to spend $45 billion is what Facebook Incorporated will take in this year, $45 billion from advertisers. And they're going to use $7 billion of that to write checks, capital expenditures this year alone, to build out data centers. That check writing goes to people for storage devices, to air conditioning units, land. All that capital expenditure has nothing to do with payroll. It's just what I'm going to spend to build out highly reliable, secure data centers throughout the world. And I give those data centers away for free. I have to, because I've got to keep my critical mass. The only way I can keep 2 billion people using my product, and 2 billion people is the only reason that the advertisers are interested, I have to give away all of that for free. So the social cloud is free. And because it's free, to be fair, I would say 60,000 companies outside of the United States have had phenomenal success with using the social cloud to build business solutions on top of it that have nothing to do with advertising and marketing. Those business solutions you can see on the first floor and the second floor, most of them are customer relationship management, intranet, supply chain management, and enterprise resource planning. And there's another one that I love, that's PLM, product lifecycle management, where they're building solutions for research and development. So using the social cloud to help with new product introduction, but in the early stages, actually getting a highly collaborative environment built using the social cloud just to help work through what should our next product release look like. That one's not listed here. These are the big four that are being used today. Intranets is a really popular one. So for a lot of companies, again, outside the United States primarily, they just can't afford to go and build an environment and pay the cloud and license software. So they've just learned how to use a Facebook secret group. It's that simple. They know how to, they've all, because of their life processes that they go about doing, they know what it's like to be a part of a secret group on Facebook because of that introduction through life, not through work. They take what they know from life and bring it to work, and it works. There's the intranet solutions that these companies have built for hundreds of employees. They're phenomenal. And again, it's so easy for them to do. They don't have to go and register. They don't have to go and build a business case for the CEO on why we need to pay this cloud bill every month and license this software. Nope, it's there. The only thing that these companies are doing phenomenally well, which was talked about in the earlier thing on early adopters, is they deal with the idiosyncrasies that comes with social media software. So, you know, social media software is the ones that you expect: Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Facebook, Facebook Messenger, the list goes on. All of those software items, they all have their pros and cons, and all of these companies have just figured out how to deal with any area that the software doesn't necessarily give them exactly what they want. They're masters at workaround. And the benefits are tremendous. So getting around the workarounds typically is just a mindset thing. So when we look at the companies that are being very successful at this, it's just a matter of them working with all their employees or suppliers or customers or business partners and saying, it's okay. And by the way, yes, it's not how it used to be with the old system, but here's how the list is published now. Here's how we're going to communicate the new forecast to you. It's going to be a document here, and it's still going to be, it's not going to be a spreadsheet anymore. It's going to be a PDF. It is what you got to do is be able to bring that down. Or it is a spreadsheet and everybody's agreed to this so that when you download that spreadsheet, it'll automatically go into your back-end system and do the updates. They're masters at the workaround. But the workaround is worth it to everybody because, again, when you look at what am I paying on a monthly basis for all the hardware, for all the services, the base services, for all of the software, it's free. Can I just use my human and financial resources to figure out how to get all of those suppliers, all of those business partners, all of those customers to adopt a slight modification to the business process that everybody was married to for the last year? Actually, that's worked out for most of them because they realized by doing that they were able to get rid of a lot of the non-value add that was just entrenched in some of those business processes just because of the typical mindset, the typical way that we always do things. And that because we get so used to that it's hard to get rid of it. But when you have to get rid of it just because the social media software does not allow you to do that. You cannot go to Facebook or Twitter and say, hey, can you modify the software? We need one more little thing. Nope. Sorry. It is what it is. You got to deal with what it is. And so the only thing that you can modify is the business process, the business flow. When you have to do that, there's actual additional benefit that comes out of that because most of them have found that there was a lot of non-value add in the business process itself. So they were forced into re-engineering the business process, which also gave an additional benefit that was not expected. But again, the short answer is people use the social cloud. And that's about 100,000 companies today that are using social cloud. Now, that might seem like a big number, but it's not. 100 million companies worldwide use social media for advertising and marketing. 100 million. So 100,000 companies is small. So we're very much in the infancy of the social cloud. Again, whenever you cannot afford the alternative solutions, when you cannot afford the cloud the way that's being presented to you by everybody else, when you cannot afford the software bill that everybody else is presenting to you, that's when you will typically adopt the social cloud and you will re-engineer your business processes to deal with the limitations of the software as it is today. Now, there is a third thing to keep in mind, and you can see that here with Ally down at the bottom. Ally is the name that I give to humanize the algorithms, always plural. The social media algorithms is very sophisticated. It's more sophisticated than the algorithms in anything else right now, including Google, which is coming on pretty strong, though. I have to admit, the deep learning work that Google is doing is just amazing. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out over the next 18 months. Should be absolutely amazing. The reason the algorithms are so strong in the social media world, again, remember who they really ultimately serve are those advertisers. Advertisers need to be able to target audiences, and the algorithm, I mean, it's no problem having 20,000 engineers focus on machine learning, neuro-netted, artificial intelligent software agents that can help target more and more of us in terms of how we behave, how we go about our day, because it's that profitable. Again, we're just using that in other areas of the business, but those algorithms are very, very powerful when they are used for other parts of the business besides marketing and advertising. Again, look to the ones that have been successful. We get into specific cases in the social media mastery class, which you can join at any time. It's $299. That's all it is, just one time. And you can join in that for an entire semester and get as much involved in learning how to be a leader in this field. If you are in social media today and you are just doing marketing advertising, you probably know that your pay is pretty low. You don't seem to be able to have interesting conversations with the CEO or people outside of the marketing the marketing advertising area that you're stuck in. If you want to break out of that, start having conversations with the CEO on matters that matter, I highly recommend my social media mastery program, $299 per person per semester. It will get you to where you can be very effective in being a leader on these types of projects, to use the social cloud to solve complex business problems outside of the marketing advertising department.